Before thought, before memory, before names, there was only silence. Time began without intention, moving forward without witness. Matter learned to gather, to burn, to endure. Among countless worlds, one would become a laboratory of chance. This planet was not made for life. Life would force its way in. Oceans formed as memoryless containers of possibility. In darkness, chemistry began to repeat itself. Patterns emerged, not by design, but by persistence. Complexity was born from endless trial. A boundary appeared, separating inside from outside. This was not life, yet only preparation. Replication began as an accident. Failure was the rule. Survival was rare. Persistence became the first advantage. Life arrived without awareness of itself. These beings had no eyes, no thoughts, no fear. They existed only to continue existing. Reaction preceded intention. Preference emerged before choice. This was not thinking, yet it was not random. Information learned to move. Coordination began without command. Survival demanded efficiency. Selection shaped behavior before awareness. Memory entered matter. Imperfection became the engine of change. Variation created advantage. Speed became a form of intelligence. Sensation arrived long before perception. The environment began to guide behavior. Prediction began as chemistry. Experience left traces. Structure followed function. Optimization replaced randomness. Communication preceded language. Collective behavior emerged. Strategy existed without consciousness. Individuality began microscopically. Delay became a form of evaluation. Complex worlds demanded adaptive responses. Internal models formed without awareness. The inside began to matter as much as the outside. The planet became alive at microscopic scale. Eons refined what moments began. The foundation of minds was being laid. Organization preceded awareness. Learning existed before learners. This lineage would never stop evolving. From these cells, all futures would arise. Intelligence did not appear suddenly. It was rehearsed for billions of years. Life multiplied, filling every available space. Scarcity introduced pressure. There was no correct strategy, only surviving ones. Flexibility became an advantage. Signals entered the environment. Meaning existed before intention. The past began to influence the present. Navigation emerged without maps. Together was sometimes safer than alone. Cooperation remained fragile. Roles formed without awareness. Division of function increased survival. Collective intelligence began as survival math. Information learned to travel sideways. Evolution accelerated. The future began to leave early signals. Prediction emerged without foresight. Memory was encoded in reactions. Experience altered response. The planet became a network of reactions. Defense became as important as growth. Change erased most paths forward. Survival filtered complexity. Internal organization increased control. Efficiency became intelligence. Waste disappeared from successful lineages. Sensing grew more refined. The environment became readable. Knowledge began to outlive individuals. Speed overtook chance. Timing became a survival skill. The planet learned what worked. Order emerged from constant motion. Reaction slowly became expectation. Internal experience began to matter. Self-regulation replaced chaos. Continuity became power. Complexity prepared the way forward. Networks replaced isolation. Signals outran physical change. Anticipation deepened. A threshold approached. Together became permanent. Life crossed a silent boundary. Communication scaled upward. Decision-making expanded beyond a single cell. The foundation of minds was no longer microscopic. What followed would no longer be simple life, but organized existence. Life learned to remain together. Information began to travel internally. Response became coordinated. Experience refined reaction. Speed demanded new pathways. Information outran chemistry. Perception began as orientation. The world became distinguishable. Avoidance preceded fear. Behavior formed before intention. Time entered biology. Distributed intelligence emerged. Decisions were no longer singular. Choice emerged as pattern selection. Learning became physical. The past guided the present. Memory separated from immediacy. Prediction entered biology. Selection moved inside. Priorities emerged. Processing capacity increased. Internal simulation began. Internal states gained influence. Processing converged. Speed favored survival. Mistakes shaped intelligence. The world merged into experience. Behavior became history-dependent. Intelligence accelerated under pressure. Milliseconds mattered. Anticipation became survival. Reality gained detail. Space became represented internally. Space became represented internally. Navigation replaced drifting. Thinking grew multidimensional. Evolution trained intelligence. Success became inherited. Computation entered biology. Awareness extended forward in time. Impulse learned to wait. Choice became selective. Intelligence conserved resources. Flexibility became critical. Minds began without self. Minds began without self. Social behavior emerged. Information passed between bodies. Groups thought faster than one. The architecture of intelligence was now alive. Intelligence began to shape ecosystems. Perception became subjective. Processing concentrated. Thought emerged as sustained activity. Thought emerged as sustained activity. Delay allowed evaluation. Value systems formed. Preference replaced randomness. Space became meaningful. The past became guidance. Identity began as pattern persistence. Strategy entered behavior. Counter-strategy emerged. Intelligence accelerated through conflict. Decision speed defined life and death. Fear existed as calculation. Emotion-like states emerged. Learning hardened into instinct. Evaluation preceded awareness. Information became communal. Collective intelligence dominated. Planning occurred without words. Social structure formed. Knowledge spread without language. Learning became social. Continuity reinforced intelligence. Meaning condensed. Culture began as repetition. Selflessness emerged from survival logic. Intelligence faced uncertainty. Flexibility outlived strength. Change rewrote memory. Control followed feeling. Choice became internal debate. Future value outweighed immediate reward. Problems were recognized as patterns. Intelligence reached beyond the body. Experience shaped interaction. The future entered decision-making. Strategy stabilized. Memory outlived individuals. Mind-like systems matured. The body became recognized. Self began as separation. Reality became filtered. Identity stabilized. Exploration emerged without purpose. Play rehearsed survival. The path toward conscious minds was set. Intelligence pressed against new boundaries. Change became constant. Flexibility determined survival. The world expanded beyond water. Physics became an opponent. Space demanded new understanding. Experience thickened. Experience thickened. Exploration carried risk. Failure became instruction. The environment gained meaning. Action was simulated before execution. Advantage was calculated. Risk assessment matured. Signals replaced instinct. Collective learning accelerated. Habits formed. Innovation appeared. Skill differentiated minds. Focus emerged. Relevance replaced stimulus overload. Time became ordered. The future stretched. Meaning detached from immediacy. Representation began. The mind referenced what was not present. Thought became flexible. Imagination emerged as simulation. Action followed internal prediction. Perspective differentiated. Social awareness deepened. Behavior became contextual. Relationships formed. Minds modeled minds. Coordination extended beyond the moment. Purpose emerged. Knowledge accumulated. Culture took form. Minds altered the world. The world responded. Thought lifted away from sensation. Continuity of experience formed. Experience became story-like. Thought turned inward. A threshold approached. The stage was set. Awareness prepared to recognize itself. Mind awaited its reflection. Something new was about to begin. Before humans existed, intelligence had already lived for billions of years.